tactics to scout with. So looking forward to how Stroggos is going to use hallucination, because right now he's just got a bunch of zealots and sentries and quite a lot of banked minerals that he can really throw down with these warp gates and really start pump the units. And now that the warp gate refresh is gone, I imagine we're going to see more and more units start to be really produced for Stroggos.
Yeah, very good point about hallucination. It's a very underutilized ability on the very useful sentry, as now these 8 warp gates are online, so it looks like it's go time for Stroggos, as these stalkers are now going to engage these hydras and start to pick off a lot of these zealots with the range. Nice, some force fields there to really block off a bit of the attack, but it really didn't do too much, as now he's given up the watchtower with a bunch of these hydras, which of course rip through all those warp gate units. So I would just have to see, as now they've got a bit of a standoff between these two armies in the middle.
Yeah, nice positioning there by Stroggos. He is using the pylon on the top of the hill so it can warp units below. Here we do see the hallucinated colossi. That is what he went for, although he used it a bit wrongly there. These hydras were able to take that down completely, so I feel that's a bit of a misplay from Stroggos. He should have positioned the colossi behind his army so it's believable. Now the jig is up and AlwaysYou knows exactly what's going on. He has range on these hydralisks, able to go to work on these gateways. Nice force fields going down, splitting this army, pushing forward, although a bit of a miscalculation there by Stroggos. His sentries were stuck behind this stalker, and these hydras were able to get a bunch of hits off on Stroggos' army when Stroggos was engaging one by one. More stalkers still trapped. Finally Stroggos realizing the situation and pouring more zealots in to hammer these hydras, and they are slow hydras. They really need this creep. He really needs to take out that cream tune while it's visible as well. That would be a mistake to let that survive. So we are seeing an overlord being taken out for AlwaysYou there, but AlwaysYou has spread this creep so nicely, and this is the advantage of these positions. This Hydra is misrallied, he's going to be fried. But right now we're seeing a Spine Crawler pushing forward. Stroggos does not want to let that burrow. He does not want to let AlwaysYou strong point at the Xel'Naga. These Hydras going to work. The Spine Crawler is serving as a tank, which is good for these Hydra lists because they're doing so much damage to these Stalkers, forcing these Stalkers to flee. So I think Stroggos is in a bit of a bad situation here, especially considering he's basically surrendered map control and can expand freely wherever he likes. He could even aggressively take this destructible rocks because there is no blink being researched yet, so he can happily blink across. But we're seeing 2 real robotics bays go down right now, but AlwaysYou is on top of the scouting, picks it up, sees that they are actually real robo bays going down. So interesting to see whether his reaction will be to throw down that spire just in case of Colossi. These Hydras engaging again, bit of a force field bubble there, trying to push these units out of position, but they're just doing so much damage. Hydras do so much damage to gateway units, especially with only +1 attack on the gateway units. But now we are seeing these Hydras going to work, and once again these units behind Stroggos' line are sandwiched there. He really needs to bring things forward. These Zealots are basically doing nothing, just waiting their turn to go in and be slaughtered. Nice back and forth micro there from AlwaysYou. Stroggos is in a bit of a bad situation here. He cannot lose this break. If this break gets burst open and he's able to infiltrate his natural, he's going to be in terrible shape. And AlwaysYou is keeping up this pressure. Now it's down to the cannons working on the pylon. The shield's going down, but the Hydra's forced to flee. So AlwaysYou is just not giving an inch here.
Those Hydra's just doing so much damage, really just forcing Stroggos back and back and back. He almost sniped the pylon there. He could actually, while this Protoss forces away, and there he is like clockwork doing it. Almost like he can hear me. So these Hydras now really just hanging out. The creep's actually in the base now. So really AlwaysYou very on top of that, losing his Overlord, which was spreading some of that creep, but really he's got a highway straight to the base. So we'll have to really see what the answer for Stroggos is. He really needs those robotics bays up very quickly. He needs these Colossi, which are queued up, but I don't know if it'll be too late, because really these Hydras could push in and do a lot of damage before they get up and running. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, unfortunately for Stroggos, losing that pylon has supply capped him, so this Colossi aren't actually building yet. Now they are starting to come online as he gets pylons online, so that was a good snipe there by AlwaysYou, really on top of this aggressive creep spread. Even thinking about pulling his queen off after an injection to keep it going, keep that pressure up, maybe force Stroggos to throw down an observer just to get rid of those obnoxious tumors. But Stroggos is on top of the scouting, he sees this expansion, knows that that is what AlwaysYou has to do with this map control. He has to take that expansion, so interested to find out what we're going to see from Stroggos. You could possibly think about a Warp Prison and doing a Zealot drop onto this hatchery just to get rid of it. But right now, he's in bad shape because he has this contain in his valley here, but basically until these Colossi are out and this Thermal Lance is done, he is in poor shape and does not want to engage this mass Hydra with more roaches joining the fray.
He did, thankfully, for Stroggos' point, he did get these Colossi out in time. The Hydras did not push in, so he is going to have this time, and the Thermal Lancers are not too far away either, so it looks like the time that AlwaysYou's macroing right now, getting his expansion up, all this other stuff, it's buying Stroggos a lot more time here, so he's just chrono boosting a lot more of these Colossi, 2 more about to join, so this could be very, very quickly a bad situation if they can get into this Hydra line, which of course do so much to Gateway, but I mean, these Colossi rip them up.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that AlwaysYou hasn't thrown down a Spire. A couple of Corruptors with his Hydras would basically have won the game already because they would just completely take those Colossi out of the fight. But now there's 4 Colossi on the field. They have that range upgrade. This is a bad situation for all these Hydras. There's not enough Roaches to soak the damage, and these Colossi are just free to go to work, already causing a bunch of barbecues. Oh, beautiful semicircle of force fields there going off for Stroggos, separating AlwaysYou's army there. Hydra's bouncing around behind the force fields. He really needs to retreat. This is not a good situation for him to be in. More units coming in, that macro advantage kicking in, but he's only just now halfway through these gateway units trying to work on these last remaining stalkers, but these Colossi, despite one being focused, have completely decimated AlwaysYou's army. AlwaysYou forced to fall back here, just been crushed, and he has no answer to these Colossi. He really needed that Spire. I don't think there's anything he's going to be able to do, despite the fact he's hitting the panic button with Roaches right now to get these emergency units in, trying to focus these Colossi, which hurt him so badly, but they're just being completely fried while this goes on, and the door is open into AlwaysYou's base, and he calls GG.
Jeez, these Colossi, so brutal. A bunch of these with 10 plus kills, just so much damage. It was just AlwaysYou really needed just to push out, do something while he had the advantage, because he just gave him the time, and Stroggos wisely getting these Colossi out, and it won him the game quite handily with very good force field placement too.
Yeah, I feel that AlwaysYou won that early, and then he just gave it away by letting Stroggos get Colossi out, even though he saw the dual robo base. So yeah, that's 1-0 for Stroggos in this best of 5, and we go to game 2.